Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that the most powerful transformation happens not when you're grinding, hustling, or forcing your way through life, but when you're lying in bed, eyes closed, completely still? What if the universe's greatest gifts come to those who know exactly what to whisper into the darkness before they sleep tonight? You're going to learn something that ancient masters discovered thousands of years ago, but modern society has completely forgotten. There's a specific practice, a way of speaking to yourself in those final moments before sleep that opens doors you didn't even know existed. This isn't about manifestation or wishful thinking. This is about aligning yourself with natural laws that govern how consciousness works, how energy flows, and how the mind processes reality during rest. Here's what most people do wrong. They go to bed carrying the weight of their entire day. Their minds are cluttered with tomorrow's worries, today's failures, unfinished conversations, and endless mental chatter. They treat sleep like it's just a biological necessity, a pause button on life. But here's the truth that changes everything. Sleep isn't just rest for your body. It's the most powerful state of consciousness you can access for transformation. When you fall asleep with a scattered, anxious, or unfocused mind, you waste 8 hours of incredible potential. Your subconscious mind, which processes information thousands of times faster than your conscious mind, spends the night sorting through mental garbage instead of doing its real work, which is solving problems, integrating wisdom, and preparing you for breakthrough moments. Most people wake up feeling tired, not because they didn't sleep long enough, but because their minds were working overtime on the wrong things. They're trying to force solutions during the day when they should be planting seeds at night. They're fighting battles in their waking hours that could be won effortlessly in their dreams. The power of conscious transition. Consider the final moments of your day. The lights are out, the world is quiet, and you lie in the stillness of your own presence. This is not merely the end of another cycle of activity. This is a frontier. It is a threshold between two worlds. The world of action and the world of essence, and how you cross this threshold determines everything that follows. Most people approach this moment as a collapse. They fall into sleep as a stone falls into a well, dragged down by the weight of their exhaustion, their worries, their mental clutter. They see sleep as an escape, a temporary pause from the pressures of living. And in doing so, they waste the single most potent opportunity for transformation available to them each day. This unconscious stumbling into oblivion is the greatest error, for it neglects the profound power inherent in the transition itself. The moment you drift from waking consciousness into sleep is not a blank space in your experience. It is not a void. It is in fact a critical and highly sensitive point of access. To understand this, you must first appreciate the two aspects of your own mind that are at your waking consciousness is the part of you that you know intimately. It is the voice that narrates your day, that plans your schedule, that worries about your problems, that analyzes your experiences. It is a magnificent tool, but it is also a limited one. It operates linearly, logically, and often critically. It is like a manager who believes it must control every single operation, refusing to delegate or trust in the broader intelligence of the organization. As you begin to feel tired, this manager finally begins to clock out. The constant thinking starts to slow. The grip on control begins to loosen. This is not a failure of the system. It is an invitation. This invitation is extended by the other aspect of your mind, subconscious. This is not some mystical, esoteric concept. It is the practical operational intelligence that runs the immense background processes of your being. It is the part of you that regulates your heartbeat, that digests your food, that stores every memory and every skill you have ever acquired. It processes information not in a straight line, but in a web of connections, patterns, and possibilities. It is the research and development department, the creative genius, the strategic supercomputer of your entire existence. And it is most receptive, most open to instruction precisely at that moment when the waking manager is leaving for the day in the transition into sleep. This is why ancient traditions placed such immense importance on the practices surrounding sleep. They understood that the final thoughts you entertain, the final feelings you harbor, the final images you hold in your mind as you cross this threshold are not erased. They are not lost. They are instead amplified. They are taken down into the depths of your being like precious seeds planted in the most fertile soil imaginable. Your subconscious mind throughout the night will work on whatever seeds you have given it. If you give it seeds of anxiety, of regret, of tomorrow's to-do list, that is what it will cultivate. It will spend your valuable hours of restoration, weaving narratives of stress, trying to solve problems from a place of lack, and integrating mental chaos. You are effectively programming it for more of the same struggle. The conscious transition is the act of reclaiming this process. It is the deliberate decision to cross the threshold not as a passive victim of your day, but as an active architect of your night. It is the shift from collapsing in exhaustion to transitioning with intention. This begins with the understanding that sleep is not an escape from life, but a deeper, more fundamental engagement with. When you approach your rest in this way, you transform those hours from a period of wasted potential into your most productive and creative time. You are no longer leaving your subconscious to sort through the garbage of the day. You are giving it a clear and purposeful blueprint to build upon. This practice is simple, but it is not always easy. It requires you to be present at the very moment you are most tempted to check out. It asks you to gently guide your awareness away from the circling thoughts of the day and toward a chosen focus. This focus could be a single word that embodies how you wish to feel, such as peace or clarity. It could be a silent expression of gratitude for one good thing that happened. It could be a gentle intention, such as I will sleep deeply and wake refreshed. The specific content matters less than the quality of conscious choice behind it. You are in that quiet moment having a final conversation with the deepest part of yourself. You are giving it its marching orders. You are saying, this is what I value. This is what I choose to grow. Work on this. By doing this, you align yourself with the natural function of your own mind. You are not trying to force anything. You are simply cooperating with the innate intelligence that already exists within you. You are allowing the powerful subconscious processes to work for you rather than against you. You begin to trust that there is a part of you that knows how to heal, how to solve, how to create, and you are consciously inviting it to do so. This is the power of the conscious transition. It transforms sleep from a daily interruption into a sacred dialogue, and in doing so, it transforms your waking life from a series of reactions into a flow of conscious creation, releasing what no longer serves. Before you can receive the universe's gifts, you must create space for them. This means consciously releasing everything you've been carrying that doesn't belong to you. Most people go to bed holding on to other people's emotions, society's expectations, past mistakes and future anxieties. They're like a cup that's already full. There's no room for anything new to enter. But here's what most people don't realize. You've been trained since childhood to be a collector of other people's energy, problems, and emotions. And nobody ever taught you how to put them down at the end of each day. The practice of conscious release begins with recognizing what you've been carrying that isn't yours. Throughout the day, you absorb energy from everyone you encounter. Like a sponge soaking up water, you take on stress from your workplace, anxiety from the news, frustration from traffic, disappointment from unmet expectations, worry from family members, anger from social media, and countless other emotional residues that accumulate in your consciousness throughout your waking hours. By bedtime, you're carrying the heavy load that has nothing to do with your true self or your real purpose. You are like a traveler who has been picking up rocks along the journey. And by evening, your backpack is so heavy you can barely walk, yet you never stop to empty it out. This unconscious collecting of mental and emotional debris is one of the main reasons why people feel exhausted even when they haven't done much physical work. You're not just tired from your own activities. You're tired from carrying everyone else's stuff. You're processing not just your own experiences, but the experiences, emotions, and expectations of dozens of people you encountered throughout the day. Your mind is like a computer that's running too many programs at once, slowing down and overheating because it's trying to process information that doesn't even belong to it. As you prepare for sleep, you need to consciously set down this burden. This isn't about suppressing or denying difficult experiences. It's about recognizing the difference between experiencing something and carrying it with you permanently. You can acknowledge what happened during the day without making it part of your identity or your future. You can feel compassion for someone's struggle without taking on their struggle as your own. You can witness injustice without carrying the anger about it to bed with you. You can experience disappointment without making it a permanent resident in your consciousness. The words you speak to yourself during this release process matter enormously. Instead of reviewing all the things that went wrong, like a prosecutor building a case, you acknowledge them like a wise observer who sees clearly but doesn't get emotionally entangled. Instead of rehearsing tomorrow's worries like an actor preparing for a tragedy, you trust that your rested mind will handle challenges better than your tired mind ever could. You speak to yourself with the same kindness you would show to a good friend who had a difficult day. This release creates a clean slate in your consciousness, like wiping down a whiteboard that's been covered with random marks and scribbles. When your mind is no longer cluttered with accumulated mental debris, it can focus on what truly matters. Your growth, your purpose, your connection to something greater than your daily problems. It's like cleaning out a cluttered room. Suddenly, you can see the space clearly. You can move freely, and you can choose consciously what deserves to occupy that precious space. Your consciousness is the most valuable real estate you own, and you get to choose what lives there. The practice of release isn't just about letting go of negative experiences. It's also about releasing positive experiences that you might be clinging to in an unhealthy way. Sometimes people hold on to compliments, achievements, or pleasant moments so tightly that they become stuck in the past instead of being present to new possibilities. True release means letting go of both the good and the bad, trusting that what's meant to stay will stay naturally and what needs to go will leave peacefully. Most people resist this practice because they've been conditioned to believe that holding on to things, memories, emotions, other people's problems is a sign of caring or responsibility. But carrying someone else's burden doesn't help them. It just weakens you. Holding on to past hurts doesn't protect you from future pain. It just keeps you trapped in old patterns. Rehearsing tomorrow's worries doesn't prepare you for challenges. It just depletes the energy you'll need to handle them skillfully. The practice of conscious release is actually the most caring thing you can do for yourself and for others. Gratitude as gateway. To speak of gratitude is to speak of a fundamental law of consciousness, not a simple emotion or a polite response to good fortune. It is a frequency, a specific tuning of your inner being that resonates with the essence of abundance itself. When you lie down at the end of your day and you consciously turn your mind toward what you are thankful for, you are not merely listing positive events. You are performing a profound act of alchemy upon your own perception. You are shifting the very filter through which you experience reality. The world does not change in its external facts, but your relationship to those facts transforms entirely. This is because gratitude is not a reaction to abundance. It is the vibration that attracts abundance into form. It is the acknowledgement that within the fabric of every moment, no matter how challenging, there exists a thread of grace, a lesson waiting to be integrated, a strength waiting to be discovered. This practice, especially in the vulnerable and receptive state before sleep, is perhaps the most powerful method for reprogramming a mind that has been conditioned to see lack, to anticipate problem, and to defend against loss. The common misunderstanding is that gratitude requires that everything in your life be perfect, that you must ignore the real pains and struggles that are part of the human experience. This is a fundamental error. False positivity is a brittle shield that eventually cracks under pressure, often leaving one feeling more disillusioned than before. Real gratitude, potent gratitude, has nothing to do with pretending. It is instead an act of profound honesty and deep recognition. It is the ability to look directly at a difficult situation and to find within it not the thing to be celebrated, but the opportunity to be more. It is the understanding that the friction of life is what polishes the spirit, that resistance is what builds strength, and that even in darkness, the eyes begin to adjust and perceive new forms of light. When you express gratitude for a challenge, you are not saying you enjoyed the pain. You are acknowledging that you valued the growth it initiated, the clarity it revealed, or the compassion it fostered. You are reframing the event from a random misfortune into a necessary component of your evolution. This shift in perspective is everything, for the subconscious mind does not deal in objective events, but in the meanings we assign to them. As you prepare to surrender to sleep, this practice of genuine gratitude becomes your method of instruction to the deeper layers of your mind. The subconscious is a vast and neutral processor. It takes the raw data of your experiences and the emotional charges you have attached to them and works throughout the night to find patterns to create coherence and to build your model of reality. If the last data you input is a catalog of failures, worries and irritations, that is the reality, it will diligently work to reinforce and manifest more. It operates on the principle of recognition. It seeks to find in the external world more of what you have shown it is important to you through your focused attention. When you instead feed it with feelings of appreciation, thankfulness, and acknowledgement of what is good and what works, you are programming it to seek out and recognize more of those elements. You are telling it, this is what I choose to see. This is the world I am interested in inhabiting. Your mind then spends the night not wrestling with problems, but weaving connections between positive experiences, uncovering hidden blessings and solidifying a neural framework of abundance. The specific words you use in this practice are not mere words. They are the architects of your brain's landscape. Neuroscience confirms that the habitual thoughts we think carve out neural pathways, like rivers carving canyons over time. Each night, as you consciously direct your thoughts toward gratitude, you are deepening these canyons of positive recognition. You are literally rewiring your brain, strengthening the circuits associated with contentment, well-being, and resilience, while allowing the pathways of lack and anxiety to gradually grow fainter from disuse. This does not mean you become blind to problems. On the contrary, you approach problems from a completely different foundation. Instead of approaching a difficulty from a place of fear and scarcity which clouds judgment and triggers panic, you approach it from a foundation of strength and appreciation. You know that even in this problem, there is something to be learned, and you trust in your own capacity to handle it, because your subconscious mind has been fortified with evidence of your capabilities and the universe's support, all gathered through your nightly practice of gratitude. This consistent practice ultimately transforms your entire relationship with existence. The end of the day ceases to be a time of audit where you measure all you did not accomplish against some impossible standard. It becomes a time of harvest where you gather the genuine fruits of the connection you had, the lesson you learned, the beauty you witnessed, the obstacle you overcame. You lie down feeling enriched, not depleted. You are filled with the sense of having received rather than having been deprived. And this feeling dictates the quality of your sleep and the tone of your awakening. You do not wake up bracing for another day of battle against a hostile world. You wake up with a quiet curiosity, a sense of anticipation for what new gifts the day will bring. Because you have trained your mind through the gateway of gratitude to expect goodness, to recognize opportunity, and to participate in the constant unfolding abundance of life. Setting intention without attachment, there is a profound and essential paradox at the heart of all effective creation. A balance that must be mastered if one is to move beyond struggle and into flow. It is the delicate art of setting a clear and powerful intention while simultaneously releasing all attachment to the specific form that intention must. This is the difference between being a sculptor who forces clay into a predetermined shape against its nature and being a gardener who plants a seed with a clear vision for the plant, but who then trusts the intelligence within the seed and the soil to produce a result that may exceed the gardener's own imagination. Most goal setting is an act of force. It is born from a place of lack. The idea that you are not enough as you are and must achieve something external to become whole. Nanti, this energy of striving is fraught with anxiety because it is fundamentally a statement of distrust in yourself, in the process, and in the universe. Nighttime practice of setting intention is the antidote to this. It is not about goals. It is about direction. It is about clarifying your deepest desires and then offering them up, not with a demand, but with a curious and open trust, allowing a far greater intelligence to handle the details of manifestation. When you engage in this practice in the moments before sleep, you are operating from a position of profound leverage. You are speaking directly to your subconscious mind, the part of you that is not limited by your logical linear perceptions of time and possibility. This aspect of your being has access to a vast network of information, memory, intuition, pattern recognition that your waking consciousness cannot perceive. By setting an intention here, you are not trying to control the unfolding of your life. You are simply providing a clear signal. You are stating a preference to the universe. You are saying, this is the quality of experience I wish to have. This is the direction I want to move in. This is the lesson I am ready to learn. You are defining the what with clarity while surrendering the how with humility. This act requires immense courage because it means relinquishing the illusion of control which the ego clings to for dear life. It means admitting that your conscious mind, for all its brilliance, cannot possibly see the entire tapestry of cause and effect, and that a much wiser part of you can navigate this terrain with far greater efficiency if you simply get out of the way. The language you use for this intention is critical. It must be spoken from a place of already feeling the essence of the desire rather than from a place of desperate want. There is a world of difference between the energy of I need to find a new job because I hate this one, and I set the intention to engage in work that is deeply fulfilling and that fully utilizes my unique talents. The first is a statement of lack and resistance. It tells the subconscious to focus on what is wrong. The second is a statement of purpose and openness. It tells the subconscious to begin assembling the people, opportunities and insights that will lead to that fulfillment in whatever unexpected form it may arrive. You are not pleading with the universe. You are collaborating. You are expressing a desire while remaining genuinely curious about the myriad of ways it might come to pass. This openness is the space where magic occurs. The chance meetings, the sudden inspirations, the unexpected doors that open precisely when needed. This practice fundamentally transforms your relationship with your own dreams and ambitions. The anxious striving that characterizes so much of modern achievement falls away, replaced by a calm and steady confidence. You begin to move through your days with a sense of being guided. You take action not from a place of fear that it won't happen, but from a place of trust that it is already unfolding. You understand that your role is to be alert and responsive to the opportunities presented, not to manufacture every single step through sheer force of will. You stop trying to push the river and instead learn to flow with it, knowing that the current is intelligent and is carrying you toward your stated intention. This is not passive, it is highly active, but it is action that is aligned and effortless because it is inspired action, not forced action. Throughout the night, your subconscious mind accepts this intention as its primary directive. It gets to work sorting through the vast archives of your experience, making connections between seemingly unrelated pieces of information and preparing insights that will bubble up into your conscious awareness at the perfect moment. This is why you so often wake up with a solution to a problem that seemed insurmountable the night before. The intention you set was the question, and your subconscious, free from the constraints of your logical mind, worked through the darkness to find the answer. By setting an intention without attachment, you are not giving up on your desires. You are empowering the most creative part of yourself to achieve them in ways more elegant and effective than you could ever have planned. You are moving from being a lonely architect straining over blueprints to being a harmonious partner with the infinite intelligence that is your true nature, connecting with universal intelligence. There is a fundamental misunderstanding that limits human potential, a misconception that you are an isolated consciousness, a solitary mind trapped within the confines of your skull, navigating a world that is separate from you. This belief is the source of immense struggle, for it forces you to believe that you must generate all solutions, anticipate all problems, and control all outcomes solely from your limited store of personal knowledge and experience. This is an impossible burden to carry, and it is why so many people feel exhausted, anxious, and ultimately defeated by the complexity of life. The fifth principle invites you to lay down this burden, not through resignation, but through a profound recognition. It asks you to consider that your individual awareness is not a closed system, but is instead a single wave rising from a vast intelligent ocean. This ocean is what can be called universal intelligence, the underlying organizing principle of life itself. The same force that guides the migration of birds, the unfolding of a galaxy, and the healing of a wound. Your access to this intelligence is not blocked by some external barrier. It is only obscured by the constant noise of your own mental chatter. Most people imagine wisdom, insight, or guidance as something far away, hidden in some inaccessible realm. But the truth is it's already here. It's woven into the very fabric of your being. What keeps you from sensing it is not its absence, but your own restless mind, your personal worries looping on repeat, your fears projecting into the future, your insistence on controlling everything instead of allowing things to unfold. This intelligence does not need to be summoned because it never left. It only needs space to be heard. Think of it like a radio signal. The signal is always broadcasting, clear and steady. But if your own receiver is full of static, loud, jagged, chaotic, you won't hear the message. That static is your constant inner commentary, the what-ifs, the judgments, the regrets, the endless scenarios. You may spend an entire day consumed by this mental noise without realizing how loud it's become. By night, you are exhausted, not because life itself drained you, but because your mind never stopped spinning. And so, when you finally lay down to rest, your head hits the pillow, and instead of peace, the static gets even louder. This is why the practice of connecting with this deeper intelligence before sleep matters. It isn't about performing some rigid spiritual ritual or pleading with an external deity to intervene on your behalf. It is far simpler and far more powerful than that. It is the act of tuning, of consciously quieting the noise so you can align with the guidance that has been there all along. When you close your eyes and release the day, its worries, its tasks, its outcomes, you are saying to yourself, I don't have to carry this anymore. I don't need to solve everything right now. You create an inner stillness where clarity can finally emerge. In that stillness, answers often surface on their own. New perspectives arrive without effort. Sometimes you wake with a sense of direction you didn't have before, as if something inside you worked it out while you slept. This intelligence isn't mystical in the way we've been taught to think. It's practical. It operates in alignment with reality itself. When you stop clinging to the illusion of control and allow yourself to connect before sleep, you're not escaping life, you're syncing with it. You're letting the deeper part of you, the part untouched by fear and noise, rise to the surface. And in doing so, you discover that guidance was never missing. It was simply waiting for you to get quiet enough to hear it.